Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. And it's Sunday, so we are doing breaches of the week. This week in data breaches, well, if you're a longtime listener of mine, you know it's been absolutely insane. And so with that, let's dive in, no time to lose. But as always, I want to thank the people that sent me this information. And that would be Jacqueline Wolf, Francois Marseille, Robert Spanchetti, and Abigail Smith. Thank you very much. Keep sending those tips my way. And with that, let's start in Rhode Island with the Rhode Island Airport Corporation, or RI Corporation. Now, the parent company of TF Green International Airport has reported a data breach that affected dozens of travelers in early May. So, the Rhode Island Airport Corporation wrote letters to 151 individuals through July 1st, notifying them some of their personal information may have included electronic files impacted by the incident, and according to this letter, certain RIAC employee email accounts were accessed without authorization between May 14th through the 21st. So, the airport corporation said it detected suspicious activity on the 21st and basically really started learning about it on the 30th. So, here we are, but heads up to you if you fly, I'm assuming, small commuter planes as a passenger on RI Airport Corporation, heads up to you. Moving on. Let's almost right out of our gate do the mini segment simply entitled, if you just spent money on cybersecurity, you wouldn't be getting data breached, you wouldn't lose your reputation, you wouldn't be getting sued, and I sure as heck wouldn't be talking about you. So with that, let's start with the Gramercy Surgery Center in NYC. They just agreed to settle a class action lawsuit stemming from their June 2024 ransomware attack. Now, they're providing a maximum of $400,000 to cover claims and out-of-pocket expenses for class members, basically with cash payments. I can't speak today. Anyway, claims must be submitted by September 29th of this year if you are a patient at Gramercy Surgery Center. Moving on, Johnson Controls. Literally a week ago, I just talked about their data breach. It doesn't take that long anymore because a former Johnson Controls employee is now suing his former company following a 2023 data breach that left personal information of thousands of people at risk. This lawsuit was filed on July 3rd on behalf of Frank Hoon in the U.S. District of Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. So there you go. If you're in Cheesehead territory, you might be able to join them, although class actions are usually nationwide. Moving on. Purdue Financial, yes, one of the big financial firms, they've just agreed to pay $4.75 million to resolve class action lawsuit alleging that they failed to adequately protect sensitive information in February of 2024. And if you want to submit a claim, you've got until October 3rd of this year to get that done. So, not that many lawsuits or payouts this week, but big ones, and there you go. And so with that, if those organizations or companies had just spent money on cybersecurity, they wouldn't be getting breached, they wouldn't be getting sued, they wouldn't be losing their reputation, and we sure as heck wouldn't be talking about them right here on Breaches of the Week. So with that, back to real time, let's head on over to Japan for Nippon Steel Solutions. Nippon Steel's been in the news lately because they just purchased U.S. Steel. These are massive corporations for the record. So Nippon Steel's subsidiary, Nippon Steel Solutions, also called NS Solutions, offers cloud, cybersecurity, and other IT solutions. Nippon Steel basically said in a statement posted on its Japanese language website that it detected suspicious activity on some of their servers on March 7th of this year. An investigation showed that attackers exploited a zero-day flaw in unspecified network equipment and then gained access to customer, partner, and employee information. In the case of customers, the attackers may have stolen things such as name, company name, address, job title, affiliation, business email address, and phone number. Hopefully, sensitive or proprietary information was not taken, but here we go. So if you use Nippon Steel Solutions or NS Solutions for all your IT and cybersecurity needs, you might want to check in. Moving on. Claris Vision, they are notifying individuals of a cyber attack that may have compromised the personal information they've received while providing services to other companies. Now, the incident was detected on January 1st of this year, prompting involvement, obviously, of third parties to figure out what's going on and lock it down. And after a forensic and manual review completed on June 6th, it was basically found that personal information such as names and addresses may have been affected. So heads up to you if you use Claris Vision for all your vision needs. Moving on, Community Health Network. This is a nonprofit health system with over 200 care sites across central Indiana. They basically are reporting a security incident involving unauthorized access to sensitive data, including protected health information. Community Health Network data breach stems from access of an employee email account, prompting basically action to secure everything and hire a whole bunch of third parties, right? So the investigation showed that personal information may have been accessed and acquired between February 25th and 26th of this year. So about 24 hours inside their email system. Either way, it ain't great. So heads up to you if you're in central Indiana and use the Community Health Network. Moving on, Avantic Medical Lab on July 9th, they basically experienced a data breach affecting patient information. So on July 3rd, July 9th, but interestingly enough, according to my notes, on July 3rd, the Everest ransomware gang released 31 gigabytes of patient files online. So here it is. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about personal information, names, address, phone numbers, dates of birth, social security numbers, medical record numbers, referring doctors' numbers, health insurance numbers, employee or group names, policy numbers, member ID, claim ID, blood draw dates, test types and results, explanation of benefits, diagnosis, insurer correspondence, and financial data, including check details and credit card information with expiration dates and the little 3-digit or 4-digit, if you're an Amex member, code on the back of your card. So basically, if you gave them anything, they got it. And so here we are. And for the record, I take all of this from actual news reporting, oftentimes from local news, as I'm searching. It takes me quite a good chunk of time to put together my notes. And sometimes the local news screws things up, right? Just as national news can do as well. So there you go. So it's an odd disparate date, but July 3rd is when it looks like it got hit, and July 9th is when it looks like basically it started to get reported. Moving on. Horizon Healthcare RCM. Their incident came to light on December 27th of last year when apparently they got an infection that looks like it blocked access to certain network files, aka ransomware. And so the investigation revealed potential unauthorized copying of files between the 26th and 27th of December of last year, and they completed the review on May 20th of this year. And we are talking about internal Horizon numbers, customer numbers, and other patient identifiers, along with general health insurance claim processing information. In some cases, medical record number was also affected. So heads up to you, Horizon Healthcare RCM patients. Moving on, let's head on down to the swamp and talk about Florida lung, asthma, and sleep specialists. They are warning patients that attackers could have accessed their information in a May data breach. Now, in May, local news reported that a Russian ransomware gang claims to have stolen social security numbers, medical records, and passport information from Florida lung, asthma, and sleep specialists, or FLAS. There you go, FLS. Do your worst. The medical group, for the record, has 5 offices in the state of Florida in Orlando, Winter Garden, Lake Nona, Poinciana, and Kissimmee. So heads up to you if you use FLAS for all your asthma, lung, and sleep specialist needs. Moving on, Bitcoin Depot, one of the large Bitcoin ATM operators in the United States, is now notifying customers that a data breach exposed their personal information collected during cryptocurrency transactions. And according to a notice that was basically sent to impacted individuals and seen by Bleeping Computer, where I'm getting this info, Bitcoin Depot detected suspicious activity in their network on June 23rd of 2023. Over 2 years, people. And anyway, an internal investigation was completed almost a year later, more than a year later, July 18th of 2024. But due to parallel police investigations, the company was told not to disclose the breach publicly until the authorities concluded their own probe. In other words, they wanted to see if they could probably track the attackers and see how they were moving, get kind of some indicators of compromise and understand the efficiency so that they could then apply that to, let's say, potential other break-ins and all of that. So that's the one pass that I will give them, because usually when I see like over a year or 2 years or more, it's like, what the heck are you doing? But if law enforcement is telling you not to declare a breach, you don't declare a breach. And even though that is a risk to their customers, nevertheless, it's kind of like a rising tide raises all boats. Moving on, Paddy Power and Betfair. Personal information from Paddy Power and Betfair users, whatever those things are for the record, including usernames, email addresses, and first lines of home addresses and cities, have been compromised according to images posted on social media. The business added that some details of recent activity on accounts, such as technical data like device ID and IP address, may also have been accessed. So if you use Paddy Power and Betfair for your power and betting on fairs needs, I don't know what they do. Heads up to you. Moving on. Bronx Pro Group. They recently disclosed that they suffered a data breach that compromised the sensitive personal information of multiple individuals. Now, the data breach has led to concerns over the security of sensitive personal information entrusted to them. The impacted files, we're talking names, social security numbers, that's awesome, driver's license numbers, and bank account info. So everything you'd pretty much need for a driver's license scam. On June 27th, Bronx Pro Group reported to basically the Attorney General of Massachusetts and started sending notices. So heads up to you, Bronx Pro Group, I'm assuming out of the Bronx, New York. Moving on. Integrated Oncology Network, or ION. Anyway, they disclosed that they suffered a data breach that compromised personal and protected health data of individuals. This basically breach led to concerns to security of personal information for obvious reasons, and we are talking social security, addresses, dates of birth, financial account information, diagnosis, lab results, medication, treatment info, health insurance, claims information, provider names, and or dates of treatment. Beginning on June 27th, they started mailing out letters. So heads up to you if you use Integrated Oncology Network, or ION, for your oncology needs. And if you do need an oncologist, I hope you're okay. It is survivable most of the time. Sirient Corporation is the next one we are going to. On December 10th of last year, they became aware of suspicious activity on its Clio VL Trader file transfer system. They launched an investigation, and the investigation determined that unauthorized actor exploited a vulnerability in the Clio VL Trader to gain access, essentially, to Sirient systems, and may have acquired certain files containing personal and protected health information. These impacted files allegedly include sensitive information, so we're talking name, address, date of birth, health plan beneficiary numbers, medical record numbers, plan member account numbers, premium information, provider names, treatment-related dates, claim numbers, and generic descriptions of services received. So heads up, Sirient Corporation, patients and customers. Moving on. Talent Hook. Security researchers have discovered a large unprotected database was leaking sensitive information to the general public. Now, an analysis from Cyber News found a misconfigured Azure Blob Storage, that's Microsoft's like data storage in the cloud. That container was available to anybody who knew where to look for it. No password needed, apparently. Now, this contained almost 26 million files and was later determined that most of the files were resumes and CVs belonging to U.S. citizens. So it had full names, email addresses, phone numbers, education details, professional details, and employment history. So heads up to you if you use Talent Hook for your recruiting needs, I'm guessing. I'm guessing they're a recruiter. Anyway, Rockerbox. This is a Dallas-based consultancy firm that helps entities reclaim employer tax credits like work opportunity tax credits and the employee retention credit. Anywho, Rockerbox exposed your personal data, basically in the data of thousands of Americans after leaving a whole bunch of documents unprotected online. As outlined by my homeboy Jeremiah Fowler, who is doing the Cyberlord's work, the unencrypted, non-password protected database contained 245,949 records and translated into about 287 gig of data. We're talking addresses, Social Security, work history, even DD-214, U.S. Department of Defense discharge forms. So here we are. Obviously not good. So if you're in the military and your employer is using Rockerbox to get tax credits off you, you might want to check in. And finally, we have two finalies for you this week. First, we're going to talk about Ingram Micro, one of the largest technology providers on the planet by far. They suffered a ransomware attack, and this ain't good because their distribution network has the ability to cater to nearly 90% of the world's population, and they disclosed their internal systems were compromised in a breach on July 5th. And why not? It's a U.S. company. Everybody's off on the 4th. Might as well hit them around that time. Everybody's off. So while the full extent of the damage is still being assessed, it appears that Ingram's order processing processing capabilities and fulfillment operations were significantly impacted, bringing disruption to thousands of business-to-business customers around the entire planet. Now, in particular, customer-facing applications have been hit particularly hard. It was first alerted to the attack on July 3rd when it became aware of malicious encryption software on key parts of its critical infrastructure. Basically, the attackers are thought to be the SafePay Threat Group, a relatively new organization that is basically becoming a key player in the cybercrime ecosystem, and that's according to Check Point, the security firm. So, according to their statement, and I quote, "Promptly after learning of the issue, the company took steps to secure the relevant environment, including proactively taking certain systems offline." End quote. So, full extent is still unclear, but Ingram Micro's ability to process orders has been impacted. We're going to see what happens here, but obviously this is a huge one. And the reason why it's one of my finalies is because with the reach that this company has, if you are in a business, own a business, working for a business, you may be delayed getting technology and equipment because your providers might be getting it from Ingram. There's a really good chance they are. So, good luck to all of us on that one. And our other finally for the day, and this one, honestly, I just can't believe it, but we are talking about McDonald's. Yes, I'm loving it. Ronald McDonald, the Hamburglar, that McDonald's. And this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous because a security oversight in McDonald's AI-powered hiring platform, which is known as McHire, which makes a lot of mixed sense, was found exposing sensitive applicant job data belonging to as many as 64 million job seekers. That's right. McDonald's has a bazillion locations out there, restaurants, not to mention corporate jobs all over the place to run the bazillion restaurants and then franchisees and all of this. They are utterly massive. So this was discovered in late June 2025 by security researchers Ian Carroll and Sam Curry, and the issue basically was a default admin login and then what's known as an IDOR vulnerability, that's Insecure Direct Object Reference, in an internal API, application programming interface, that allowed access to the applicant's chat history with Olivia. Now, Olivia is McHire's automated recruiter bot. So if you're applying for any kind of job at McDonald's and you're going through the McHire system, you're going to talk to Olivia, who should hopefully help you. So the flaws discovered during a security review following Reddit users' complaints that the bot's quote-unquote nonsensical answers were promptly resolved by McDonald's and Paradox AI, that's the creator of Olivia, upon disclosure. Now, according to a blog post by Carroll, McHire's administrative interface for the restaurant franchisees accepted a default McUsername of 123456 and a default McPassword of 123456. Dude, it's like admin, right? 123456 is the username and the password, and they were immediately able to log in and get granted access, not just to the test environment, but to live administrative dashboards. So once inside, the researchers additionally discovered an internal API endpoint using a predictable parameter to fetch application data. So by simply decrementing the ID value, basically Carroll and Curry retrieve full applicant PII, including transcripts, contact info, and job form data. And so if you think about it, if I am applicant 1000, all they did was say, okay, applicant 999, there's more information. 998, another person. 997, another person. Decrementing. Here we are. So this exploit exposed not just contact details, but also timestamps, shift preferences, personality test outcomes. That's great. Everybody's going to know if you're an introvert, an extrovert, or whatever. And also tokens that could impersonate candidates on McHire as well. So obviously not good. McDonald's, I don't know what you were thinking. Hopefully you're not going to go the SolarWinds route and say it was the intern, but here we are. You got to do better, especially as a multi-billion-dollar massive corporation that, quite frankly, is one of the representatives of the United States around the world. I fly globally, and there's a McDonald's like everywhere I go. I'm in Beijing, there's a McDonald's. Tokyo, there's a McDonald's. Cambodia, I'm pretty sure I can find a McDonald's without meat. It's absolutely nuts. So here we are. Best of luck to McDonald's and everybody else, but this week in data breaches, absolutely insane. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well, where I am getting a lot of followers lately, and I am thrilled. So tens of thousands of new followers, literally almost 20,000 new followers in the last couple weeks. So please subscribe there as well. But I digress. So as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private, informed, and secure. Take care.